Hey everyone, I wanted to go over the new and exciting news that we got for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, as we now have a complete breakdown of all the information available for the free title update number 1, which Capcom is actually calling version 11. And of course, like we went over yesterday, this free title update is going to become available on August 10th, so we're just basically one day away from being able to go ahead and have full access to this brand new wave of DLC. And basically, they announced a whole bunch of things. More importantly, the anomaly investigation quest, which we're going to go over in a little bit, seems to be really packed with content and, more importantly, a whole heck of a lot more grinding than probably we were actually expecting. So that is something that we're certainly going to have to look forward to, as the new endgame is going to be basically completely changed. So first and foremost, of course, they confirmed Lucent, Nargacuga, and Seething Bazelgeuse. Those were some of the monsters that we kind of basically already knew that Capcom had already confirmed for this free title update. What we also went over yesterday, and I've been talking about this for quite a while, is that we basically knew that Silver Rathalos and Gold Rathian were going to be part of the free title update number 1. And of course, as we got to see in the trailer pretty much right away, they were being showcased in the Forlorn Arena. So of course, they're going to have, one of the things that they also mentioned is that they're going to have their very own dual threat quest, as free event quests are now going to be making their way into the game starting August 18th, I believe is what they said. So we are going to start being able to get basically event quests where you're going to be fighting typical monsters that usually hunt together. You're going to be able to take them down, and they're going to be a little bit more challenging than basically hunting them separately by themselves or just in a normal typical hunt out in the open. So certainly you're going to want to give those dual threat quests a chance, as the free event quests are going to start dropping on a weekly basis. They of course mentioned that an entire wave of new afflicted monsters are also going to be appearing in the game. They showcased, I believe, was Lunagaron, Astalos, Mitsuzune, Zenogre, Magma, Allmother. A whole bunch of monsters are going to get their afflicted versions added into the game, which was something that we were already expecting. What they did not necessarily showcase was all the elders, so like stuff like Chameleos and Teostra and Kushala Daora still do not have an afflicted version of them. I'm sure they're going to be added in the future, and of course Gaismagorm, Malzeno and stuff like that. But you know, for right now they seem to be doing the incremental afflicted monsters additions like I went over before. They were just gonna like divvy those monsters up heading into the future, so more of those afflicted monsters end up getting, you know, event quests as we head into the next free wave of free title updates. Which, do remember, we have 2 more of these heading in for this year, and then 1 more confirmed for next year, but there is the option of a 5th free title update being added. I believe they said summer of 2023, so we're just gonna have to stay tuned for whenever they decide to go ahead, if they're gonna greenlit that or not. But based on their wording today, they said that they're very encouraged with sales and stuff like that, and basically they're happy with the way people are interacting with the game, so maybe we might end up getting that 5th title update after all. Now, I want to talk about the afflicted investigations because they went over it very quickly, but they basically showcased some of the things that we already knew. First and foremost, you're going to be able to augment your armor. They did confirm those skills are going to be basically random, and you're going to have 3 versions of it. You can basically give your armor resistances, so like resistance to lightning, resistance to dragon and stuff like that. You can give your armor straight up stats, so plus defense, plus attack, I think they mentioned, or armor. So they mentioned that, but they also said you can basically give it random skills, and they did say the word random. Therefore, basically you are just going to be RNGing until you get the proper skill into your armor set, and whichever skills are actually available to that is something that I'm sure we're going to be able to get information on based on the patch notes, which they also mentioned in the video. Basically we are going to be able to see maybe later today, if not tomorrow, as the free title drops. Now, they also mentioned augmenting weapons. They did specifically say that one, you do know exactly where you're going to upgrade as. You just provide the items and you're going to choose from different versions of it, and then you're just going to upgrade to attack, affinity, elemental bonuses and stuff like that, slotted in decorations. All that kind of stuff is already going to be available outright. You already know what you're getting right out of the gate. No RNG basically attached to any of that whatsoever. What they did specifically talk about is these afflicted investigations, where essentially you're increasing the level of the monsters that you're hunting for better rewards each and every single time. And this is the kicker: the quest details are determined at random basically every single time you go into a hunt. And they even said something ridiculous, like, which I don't necessarily how that's actually going to work, where they basically said like even the number of players based on these anomaly investigations is going to be decided randomly on by happenstance. So what if you're actually choosing to do this online and then the random anomaly investigation quest just says, no, you can only do this with 2 people. So all of a sudden, now you're just doing this quest with 2 people instead of just 4 players. I don't know how they're actually going to work that in an online environment. They also didn't necessarily confirm that they were just single player only. So presumably they can be done single player and online multiplayer as well. And they also didn't mention anything about being able to bring your followers alongside with that as well. So we're just going to have to wait and see how that's actually going to work out. Most likely there's going to be, again, details provided in the patch notes as they break all that down. Most likely their blog is also going to give us some details on that. Now, they did mention that the level cap is eventually going to be raised in the future free title updates as well. And the amount of monsters are going to be appearing in these investigation quests is also going to be like increasing in future free title updates. So essentially, this is just a system that they decided to add in for end game farming, for you to be able to get those materials that you're going to be using augmenting for. And then you're going to trade those items into Bahari. Bahari is going to give you the items that you need to be able to upgrade your weapon, upgrade your armor, whatever it may be. So those random drops that drop in those investigations is something that you're going to eventually bring into Bahari, trade that in, and then be able to get those rewards. It's going to be interesting to actually see it in play. You know, I'm not necessarily too sold on it just yet, because again, the whole RNG aspect of it and leveling reminds me very much of, like, I want to say 4 Ultimate, if I remember correctly, where you would also be like leveling up quests. I think Generations Ultimate also has something similar to that. I think you had like up to 10 levels for like Deviants, I think it was, or something like that. I'm sure you guys can let me know in the comments. So ultimately, that whole leveling up the quest thing, they have been doing this in the past. This is a new time that they're actually doing it. This is just another iteration of that same old trad idea that I don't think people have been too happy about, but here we go, once again, they're doing it, and, you know, we'll just gonna have to wait and see how it actually works out. Of course, they also mentioned that there's gonna be paid DLC. They did talk about Fiorane's voice pack being added in pretty much tomorrow, I presume, on the 10th. That's also gonna drop. I did talk about this like months ago, and people were like, of course they're not gonna do that. And I said, yes, they are. Every single one of the characters that we're gonna see on Sunbreak, they're all gonna have their paid voice packs basically available, because they did the same thing in Monster Hunter Rise. And of course, now they're going to be doing the same thing in Sunbreak. They did also, interestingly enough, mention that you're going to be able to look like Fiorane, basically layered armor that makes you look like her. So I'm assuming every one of those characters, if you want to look like Luchica, presumably eventually down the road, you're going to be able to pay and be able to get that option as well. But that's about all the things that we saw in the presentation. I'm certainly going to be going over investigations in the future, since there's just so much to cover when it comes to that. If you're brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up. And as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.